Hello everybody, welcome back. It is I, DJTurtleVortex. It has been more than a full year since Mr. Fantastic's release, and a full year since my last guide. The game is different now, and so is Mr. Fantastic. Despite all of his ups and downs, I'm still here, and that hasn't and won't change. In this video, we are doing more than the guide. More than just talking about numbers and how to use abilities by reading the description. I'm not doing that anymore. Instead, we are going above and beyond and discuss virtually everything about Mr. Fantastic and how he interacts with the whole game as of season 9.5. Please leave a like and subscribe to the channel, join the Discord, follow me on Twitch as I stream live on weekends too. I will have chapters for each section of the guide. I encourage you to watch it at your leisure, revisit the video as you wish, or just choose certain parts that are new to you. Without further ado, let's talk about Mr. Fantastic. Mr. Fantastic is a duelist, classified by the community as a brawl duelist specifically. Moreover, a unique one unlike any other in the roster. He has the highest starting HP with 375. He has 3 abilities, an ultimate, 1 passive, and 2 new team-ups. What sets Mr. Fantastic apart from the other DPS is how well he can block damage for his team and also deal damage. However, don't get fooled by his numbers. That is not where he shines. He shines in parts of the game that the scoreboard cannot track, such as how he can stall, reposition, apply pressure, peel, and reinforce his teammates whether they push, rotate, or kite the enemy team. Understanding the core of Mr. Fantastic will help you better understand his character, and we'll get through it throughout this guide. But I have to rip out the band-aid right now and be honest. Despite being a duelist, he can't kill as easily as the others. What I mean by that is, he cannot secure final hits on his own, he cannot peel on his own, he cannot tank on his own, unless he has a considerable advantage. He simply lacks in the burst damage or firepower department. A good Fantastic player makes a team better, but a bad team makes a good Fantastic player worse. That doesn't mean Mr. Fantastic is bad, it simply means that if you decide to play Mr. Fantastic and truly learn how he works, you must understand the game, the characters, the map, and how those parts of the game work as well. Stretch Punch is Mr. Fantastic's primary fire. It is not a melee, rather it is a straight spell field. So just because he's using his fist doesn't make it a melee. By definition, sure, but not by the game's logic. A straight spell field is an AoE, or area of effect, and for Mr. Fantastic's case, it takes the form of a straight line, or rather the full extent of his arm, until he pulls it back completely. Let's take a better look. I'll have it visualized on screen over his attacks so you can see it for yourself. As you can see, the game treats his arms as AoE attacks rather than a melee attack. Melee attacks are close range, with Magic having the highest range due to her sword, which is 6.5 meters. But Mr. Fantastic can reach 15 meters. Anything enemy within those 15 meters can get hit once. However, unlike melee, Mr. Fantastic cannot attack through shields or through other enemies. But this can be circumnavigated if your attack reaches past a shield. As it is returning, you can strike enemies behind them as you strafe towards them. Here's what it looks like. Currently, as of season 9.5, Stretch Punch deals 70 damage every 1.1 seconds. With each strike, Mr. Fantastic alternates his hands with the third strike combining both of them. The reason I'm pointing this out is for 2 main reasons: the attack interval and the arm of the attack. With a 1.1 second attack interval, this brings up Mr. Fantastic's TTK, or time to kill, up to, at minimum, 3.3 seconds. At average, between 4.4 seconds and 5.5 seconds. And at most, much higher. Granted, this is purely with Stretch Punch, although quite frankly, the other abilities won't necessarily influence the TTK by any significant margin. So this is more or less how long he takes to defeat most characters in the game alone. This means that if you're fighting a strategist or duelist, most times there is potentially enough time in between each attack to nullify or out-heal the damage you deal. Mr. Fantastic does not have the luxury of burst damage like Spider-Man and Magic, or the luxury of critical hits like most characters that can shoot. This goes back to the base chapter when I stated that Mr. Fantastic simply cannot kill, at least not on his own without a considerable advantage. We'll talk more about those conditions and advantages later in the guide. Moving on, the second point is about using cover. Cover is essential when you play brawl characters. These characters get in the front lines and literally at complete risk of every single possible ability the enemy can throw at you. How do you avoid it? Of course, by understanding the map and by using cover. Since Mr. Fantastic uses one arm at a time, since they're 15-meter long AoEs, each attack can be safely done behind cover. This can prevent you from spontaneously exploding as soon as the enemy turns the corner or you're up against a poke-heavy team with stuns. Not only that, but you could wind up the attack behind cover and then briefly peek past the wall to strike. Last but not least, every successful stretch punch will generate 8 elasticity. This does not mean that if you hit 3 people you get 24 elasticity, it simply means if the attack works at least once while the arm is out, you've generated 8 elasticity. We'll go over elasticity and Mr. Fantastic's passive later. Oh, and final note, Mr. Fantastic does not have a quick melee. It's stretch punch and that's it. Flexible Elongation is probably the best tool in Mr. Fantastic's kit. It's the one you'll be using the most and the one that feeds your passive the most too. Let's get into it. Flexible Elongation is a dash ability with 2 charges and a 15-meter range. You can target both allies and enemies. Allies receive 75 bonus health while enemies receive 30 damage. Mr. Fantastic receives 75 bonus health and 20 elasticity regardless of ally or enemy. The cooldown is 6 seconds per dash, but you can use them one after the other without any delay in between. This ability can also attack enemies behind a shield, unlike Stretch Punch, Distended Grip, Reflexive Rubber, and Brainiac Bounce. One of the more interesting things about Mr. Fantastic is that the official page that gives greater detail of each character's abilities doesn't detail everything for Mr. Fantastic, and you'll see that as we discuss his other abilities too. What isn't listed for Flexible Elongation is that it also inflicts knockback on characters. Knockback is a CC or crowd control effect that pushes an enemy backwards, but what it also does is bring flying characters down to the ground. So essentially, you can bring down flyers in rooms with low ceilings, maps that don't have a very high vertical range, or within your 15-meter range. However, this dash ability requires for there to be a recipient for you to utilize. You must have an ally or an enemy to use Flexible Elongation. Knockback is also technically a stun. Check it out. Here you'll see Angela spear charging someone and Flexible Elongation stunning her out of it. Did you also know that the damage version of Flexible Elongation is technically an AoE ability too? That's right. This tech is specifically for enemies. You can widen the AoE of Flexible Elongation by turning Mr. Fantastic around since the ability is only front-facing. However, this is a double-edged sword. Well, why is that, DJ? I'm glad you asked. Let's do a pop quiz. Let's take a look at this clip, and before the timer starts, I want you to guess if I hit this rocket with Flexible Elongation. See that? Didn't even work. If you immediately clocked that I was going to show it didn't work, you're right. Because Flexible Elongation is a dash ability and a front-facing ability, if the enemy, in this case Rocket, gets out of the way before impact, you will not be able to inflict knockback or damage despite the ability completing its full animation. You still get the self bonus health, but Rocket escaped completely unscathed. This can happen against characters with high mobility abilities such as Spider-Man swinging, Black Panther dashing, and as you just saw, Rocket's jetpack. A lot of misconceptions come from this ability, and many people attribute Mr. Fantastic as anti-dive because of it. This ability is not very strong against dive. It no longer slows as it was removed since Mr. Fantastic is too oppressive, and it isn't reliable at stopping the usual high TTK culprits from decimating the backline. I will repeat this as many times as we continue the guide with many more examples to show. Not only that, but because this ability is a dash, you have no control over it as it happens, only once it ends or basically once he humps. This can get Mr. Fantastic into some funny, broken, and terrible scenarios if you're not careful with who you select. You should also be careful with who is in front of you, because there are no separate binds for enemies and allies, and depending on either, they can break the line of sight for your targeting if they get in front of your desired target. This can make peeling or fighting aggressively difficult if both allies and enemies are clustered together in a fight. But at the same time, it's one of Mr. Fantastic's best way of engaging team fights and surviving the enemy damage with your team. Also, keep in mind, you can manipulate the sensitivity of the targeting in the settings for Mr. Fantastic to make it slower or faster, whichever is your preference. Lastly, Flexible Elongation counts as a CC ability due to the knockback it inflicts. So for Tenacity, when you inflict the knockback, it counts as applying 1 stack of Tenacity. If you want to learn more about Tenacity, I made a full guide about it, check it out. Distended Grip has many properties, some listed and some not listed. Let's go over the basics and tackle the advanced features as they occur. Distended Grip is a grab, but before it is a grab, it's actually a projectile. This is similar to how Devil Dino's ability, Savage Predation, is a dash, but if landed on a bleeding target, successfully becomes a grab. Let's start with the first thing that happens when you activate Distended Grip and go step by step from there. Mr. Fantastic launches the attack first with his right hand, always. With a range of 20 meters and a projectile speed of 60 meters per second, his hand becomes a projectile that only moves straight. It cannot curve like Stretch Punch. Once the right hand does connect, it deals 20 damage and grabs the enemy. Before Mr. Fantastic confirms Distended Grip with the left hand, Mr. Fantastic actually slows the target and increases his own movement speed. You have 3 seconds until you confirm with the other hand, so that's potentially at most 3 full seconds of slow and increased movement speed while you have one hand on the target. This isn't listed in the description for the ability, but I suspect it occurs to help Mr. Fantastic players land the second portion of Distended Grip. With the left hand, Mr. Fantastic has 25 meters of range and it deals 20 damage when it latches on to the same or another target. Since Mr. Fantastic starts the ability with his right hand, you have more range to use Distended Grip on your left side more than your right side. One thing to note is that Distended Grip uses the same targeting as Flexible Elongation. So on top of only traveling at a straight line, the hand projectile cannot change its trajectory, which is why during many VOD reviews for Mr. Fantastic, I always recommend this ability is used in short range, because your targets can move, but your hand cannot. Additionally, for a projectile, Distended Grip is incredibly slow. It's no Luna Freeze, I'll tell you that much. Now, let's say you grab a single target with both hands. Then Mr. Fantastic deals 50 damage as he pulls a target 10 meters towards him. If you grab 2 targets, then you deal 30 damage each and knock them airborne towards themselves. And no, unfortunately, you do not deal more damage if they collide in the air, sadly.
I've got you.
Count 30 meters?
Yeah, like I'm really showcasing how far away you are.
However, all targets after they've been knocked back are afflicted with a 1-second immobilized effect. What does this mean? Well, immobilized is a stun or a CC effect that completely restricts the movement of the target. It's like Penny's Cyberweb Snare or Elsa's Smoky Snare. It's hard to notice in the heat of battle, but it does happen. The cooldown for this ability is 6 seconds, and what's unique about it is that unlike Flexible Elongation or Stretch Punch, which require a successful hit, Distended Grip generates 30 elasticity as soon as the right hand moves. This is great for getting inflated right away if you hit the ground, or for cancelling Stretch Punch into Distended Grip for Mr. Fantastic's only source of burst damage. I'll show you the animation cancel here. There's a lot of untapped potential with Mr. Fantastic's animation, despite them being fairly slow and at most times counterintuitive. We'll talk about the pros and cons during the Elastic Strength passive chapter. Lastly, let's find out if Mr. Fantastic can influence the direction of the pull. Can it only go towards him, or can you guide it to a different direction?
I'm gonna be moving back. The thing is, you can't really control me if I try to move backwards or forwards, because it's just a pull.
I move backwards with, like, if I move backwards, would it pull you towards me?
Yeah, let's try that. So go ahead and grab me, and I'll start moving backwards, and then you start. I really, yeah, and obviously if we move forward, it moves forward, so we can skip that. Now you try moving to your
Opposite
left.
direction.
Yeah, you move to your left, I'll move to my left.
Okay.
Yeah, I really minimized how far you can go. And then now we'll do the opposite
Oh, you
direction.
know what? It's kind of like if we were going, like if you were pressing S, because we're doing the opposite movement.
Yeah, exactly. It's opposite movement. So go ahead and grab me one more time, and we'll go with the right side. And that's pretty much it. Like, I really minimized where we're going. So now try turning to your right while I move to my left. Not strafing, just turning. Yeah. Okay, that's perfect. Because that perfectly illustrates what I mean by you can't really influence. It depends on the person. We'll do one more time. And I'll be like here. I'll be like right here. So it shows how much you turn. So go ahead and grab me. Yeah.
Kind of. The pull happens as soon as the hit marker clicks, and it pulls from that direction you stood at. It can be influenced more by where you move than where you look, and by the opponent you pull slightly. Your mileage may vary depending on who you pull as well. Attacking Dino or Thing with this ability won't do much other than damage, but repositioning characters that don't have a lot of mobility or using it to cancel certain dashes, jumps, and swings is key. Reflexive Rubber is the best survivability tool Mr. Fantastic has. If Flexible Elongation keeps the team going, Reflexive Rubber keeps Mr. Fantastic going. I can spend all day glazing this ability, but this video will already do enough. Let's get into its details. Reflexive Rubber is an ability that absorbs damage. It is not only a shield. While it can launch some of the damage it stores, that is not where the power of this ability lies. Reflexive Rubber has a duration of 3 seconds. During this time, Mr. Fantastic can absorb 300 damage and launch 60% of whatever damage he absorbed as a projectile to whomever you are aiming at. While in Reflexive Rubber, Mr. Fantastic applies 35% slow debuff to himself. Also, you cannot use your other abilities save for cancelling into Brainiac Bounce, Mr. Fantastic's ultimate ability. Let's see how Let's see how Reflexive Rubber works. Try saying that 10 times. While in Reflexive Rubber, Mr. Fantastic can theoretically take an infinite amount of damage. Yes, an infinite amount. However, once he takes 300, that's the trigger for him to get out of rubber mode and fire the projectile. Take a look at this. Scarlet Witch's ultimate deals 9,999 damage. It is the single highest source of instant damage of the game, and Mr. Fantastic is completely unscathed. Wait a minute, I thought it had a shield value of 300. It still does. 300 damage is just how much damage enemies need to reach to break Mr. Fantastic out of Reflexive Rubber, or the duration of 3 seconds. Okay, we've got the details out of the way. Now let's break down what really makes this ability shine and where the true power lies. What isn't actually shown or written in the official description of the ability. While in Reflexive Rubber, Mr. Fantastic is completely untargetable, unstoppable, invulnerable, and a straight up wall that breaks line of sight and movement abilities. I'll go through each one and explain why and how. Mr. Fantastic is untargetable. What do I mean by this? Well, let's take a look at Star-Lord, Punisher, Penny, and Namor, for example. Star-Lord couldn't auto-aim on Mr. Fantastic. Punisher's shoulder rockets completely passed over him. Penny's mines don't even explode when he stands on them. Namor's squids don't shoot him at all. This is what I mean by untargetable. As far as the game is concerned, Mr. Fantastic is no longer on the board for being considered a target to attack. Reflexive Rubber makes Mr. Fantastic unstoppable. In fact, it makes him better than unstoppable, it makes him immovable. Unlike the notable phrase, unstoppable force meets an immovable object, Mr. Fantastic in Reflexive Rubber mode is an unstoppable force and an immovable object. Take a look. Jeff's ultimate, Doctor Strange's ultimate, Hulk's ultimate, The Thing's ultimate, and Yancey's street charge, Emma's grab, Angela's spear, any grab in the game, nothing. Nothing will move Mr. Fantastic and nothing can move past him. It's diabolical. The best part as well is that you can contest the objective while you're in this mode. Okay, so he's untargetable, unstoppable, and like I said, invulnerable. Now, I already showcased it technically with the Scarlet Witch ult, but let me expand on it. Not a single debuff nor a stun can affect him while he's in rubber mode, provided he starts in rubber mode. Not Bucky's ultimate, not anti-heal, not bleed, not vulnerability, slow, trap, nothing. Absolutely nothing. Now for some of these debuffs, if you're afflicted with them while Mr. Fantastic is normal, they either won't have an effect or they'll get cleansed when you go rubber mode. Last but not least, probably the craziest part of Reflexive Rubber is the fact that Mr. Fantastic is a complete wall. He can break line of sight and prevent healing, targeting abilities, and AoE abilities. I'll go over a few examples of each. As you can see, Loki's runes won't work. Adam's healing won't work. The Thing's Embattled Leap and Battle Blitz don't work. Rocket's ultimate won't work. And Luna's ultimate won't work, for example. Absolutely bonkers the amount of stuff you can deny with this ability. And the best part, if your teammates are close by, you can protect them from some of the effects if you stand in front of them or at the nexus of the ability. Let's take a look. Now, we'll go over every single possible application I can think of in the character chapter, so look forward to it when we get there. but this is just the gist of the ability. Lastly, this ability can be cancelled into every other ability in his kit. It's the most versatile one by far. So if you're inflated, you could go rubber. If you're normal, you can go rubber. Once you finish ulting, you can go straight into rubber. Just be careful as the cooldown is 12 seconds long and the slow can sometimes get you trapped behind enemy lines. It doesn't cost you any elasticity, nor does it generate any either. Let's get into Mr. Fantastic's passive, Elastic Strength. After using Stretch Punch, Flexible Elongation, and Distended Grip, you've reached 100 elasticity. What happens next? Well, Mr. Fantastic enters an inflated state for 6 seconds. Once he enters this state, his maximum health increases by 350 HP, and he heals for 350 HP when he exits inflated mode. During this state, he now deals 80 damage per Stretch Punch with his range reduced to 8 meters. His attack interval has decreased from 1.1 seconds to 0.9 seconds. Finally, he gains a 20% movement speed boost as well. It's a giant word salad of changes, so what exactly happens? Mr. Fantastic becomes an enormous target, he gains almost double his regular HP, he moves slightly faster, his attacks have less range, and he can attack a total of 6 times with 10 more damage than normal for the full duration. All of this is not using the Rocket team-up. We'll talk about that team-up in the team-up section. There are pros and cons to this ability, but ultimately, you have no control over it. When you reach 100 elasticity, you will transform. There's nothing you can do about it. This is one of the biggest cons of this ability and highlights one of Mr. Fantastic's most debilitating weakness, his slow animations. Exiting and entering inflated mode is the most vulnerable time for Mr. Fantastic. It is generally around the time you will die the most because you are a ginormous target and you cannot do anything. All your abilities are cancelled and you are trapped in this animation until it completes or you die. Not only that, but once you reach 100 elasticity, anything you were doing before is completely overridden by this animation. Did you try to punch an enemy after reaching 100 elasticity? Sorry, nope. Did you try to use Distended Grip after reaching 100 elasticity? Denied. Did you flexible elongate to an enemy and try to punch them as they were running away? Sorry, you can't punch them and secure the kill because you have to go inflated now. When you're in inflated mode, you cannot use your abilities save for 2, Reflexive Rubber and Brainiac Bounce, your ultimate. If you choose Reflexive Rubber, you will definitely survive for only 3 more seconds. If you use your ultimate, you might survive for a bit longer or not, depending on how much damage you are facing, since activating Brainiac Bounce is another animation trap. The pros are obvious. You get 10 more damage, you can heal twice, you move and attack faster. The cons are a bit more layered. I've already mentioned the animation trap, but you also cannot use your other abilities such as Distended Grip or Flexible Elongation. You're also more susceptible to percentage damage, and you become a giant target so you're easier to hit, and your Stretch Punch will have less range. Besides that, however, one of the biggest strengths a Mr. Fantastic player can develop is knowing when to cancel or continue inflated mode. It's easier with the Rocket team-up. I'll go over the finer parts of inflated mode in the playstyle chapter since it influences a lot of decision making during a match. I wish I could talk more about it, but genuinely this is all it is. His breakpoints for damage do increase, but only at a margin that matters when you're fighting characters at 300 and plus HP or in any battle past 4 punches, but by then your inflated mode is basically going to run out. If I missed anything here, please let me know in the comment. Brainiac Bounce. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It's a difficult ultimate to get value from. Can it work? At times, yes. But keep in mind that when you use this ultimate, you are putting yourself at risk because you are relinquishing the amounts of control you have over Mr. Fantastic and the fight itself. Let's go over the details together. Brainiac Bounce is an ultimate with an energy cost of 3100. Considering the ultimate generation nerf across the board, it sits just under the average cost of the rival's cast, which is good. It means that on average, you can get your ultimate faster than most characters. Well, what happens when you activate the ultimate? Mr. Fantastic leaps into the air, instantly healing himself and increasing his maximum health by 350, and then slams into the ground for 70 damage and inflicts slow, which lasts for 3 seconds with an AoE range of 10 meters. Damage falloff starts at 3 meters and falls to 71.4% at 10 meters. Essentially, the further enemies are from the center, the less damage they take, and in this case, they'll be taking 71% less damage if they're at the very edge of the ultimate's range. Mr. Fantastic will leap for a minimum of 3 times, after which he will require to hit enemies to continue leaping up to 3 more times for a maximum of 6 total leaps. Each consecutive leap adds 14 more damage than the last, as well as 10% more slow. I'll show a damage ladder for each leap and how much slow it applies. But on the 6th and final leap, Mr. Fantastic will deal 140 damage and apply 60% slow. The total minimum he can deal is 252 damage and inflict 30% slow. The total maximum is 630 damage and inflict 60% slow. Keep in mind, this damage is spread across 6 bounces, and each bounce interval is roughly 1.3 to 1.5 seconds, unless you're in a low ceiling. We'll get to that condition, don't worry. But would you like to know the primary fire interval of Strategists? The slowest one is 35 per second from Ultron's drone. Alone, every other healer can out-heal Mr. Fantastic's Brainiac bounce's escalating damage in between each leap up to at least the 4th bounce. After that, another healer is required if the character has less than 275 health. This is just the primary fire. This is not accounting for healing abilities or ultimates. Not only that, but you actually need to hit enemies. Not just the general area, not deployables, not shields, but the actual health bars of the enemy. So how can we maximize the value of this ultimate? It's all about timing and location. Take a look at this clip.
See this? They go inside, I'm gonna ult them. I'm fucking crazy, bro.
Pretty fantastic, wasn't it? This is one of the few ways you can really make the most out of the ultimate, by utilizing a low ceiling and by timing it when the enemy team is at their most vulnerable. Mind you, you shouldn't focus on trying to get 6 mans or 5 mans. Sometimes 2 or 3 is enough. Value is value, even 1 is enough. Even getting the enemy team to react and use their ultimate as a reaction is enough, given that Mr. Fantastic can potentially regain his ultimate faster than some strategist characters like Luna or White Fox. That is essentially how I use the ultimate. I gauge when the enemy has used the resources. Did the strategist ult? Did their shields break? I gauge when they're at their weakest. How much health do they have? Can they out-heal my damage? I gauge when the fight needs momentum or more pressure than the team is applying. Can I jump past the front line and get them to turn around? Can I distract the enemy and give my team an opening? Lastly, I gauge when the momentum of the fight swings in our favor. How much pressure do we need? Can I stop them from recovering, peeling, and rotating away with their lives? These are questions I try to ask myself when I want to get the maximum value from Brainiac Bounce. I will admit, however, I do just throw it out sometimes just to survive longer, to stall the point or objective, to keep the fight going. These types of ults rarely work out because you just become a predictable target that the enemy can kill. But sometimes it doesn't hurt to just throw it out there and see what happens. You never know. I wish I could say good things about this ultimate, but I really can't. You can't control Mr. Fantastic. How high he leaps, when to cancel, and where the enemy goes. If you're ulting and they go inside a building, tough luck. If Mr. Fantastic leaps too far and they get away, that's that. There's so much control that you relinquish when you use this ultimate. So when you use it, don't do it alone. Have your teammates with you to confirm any kills and eliminate any stragglers that might survive. The silver lining is that you can get away with it if the shield does not fully block the AoE and you can confirm some hits in the corner, such as Emma blocking the ultimate. You also can't control what the enemy does. Half the roster can mitigate the damage and block it outright. Another portion can just out-heal it. And another group can just leave the area of effect without breaking a sweat. And this is before the map can potentially screw you over with moving mechanics, indoor buildings, etc. Also, you don't get the extra health right away. So sometimes, if you do want to use this ultimate as an emergency heal, to stall, to live longer, etc., and you've got more than one enemy staring you down the barrel, you're screwed. With Distended Grip, you can grab to enemies and launch them into the air. Once you do that, you can use them as a low ceiling for your ultimate. Shout out to Brickmon, a fellow Fantastic main and member in my Discord, for this idea. You can also cancel Stretch Punch and add an invisible strike just as you're initially casting Brainiac Bounce. I also want to once again give a shout out to Blue World for their tech idea that combines flexible elongation and Brainiac bounce.
Let's talk about the new undiscovered tech. Just for simplistic sake, however, I will refer to it as Blue Tech. This is what the full tech looks like in-game. You can see very clearly that the tech is as simple as canceling your flexible elongation midway through by using your ult. But the reasoning why the tech is so useful is for two reasons. With the first reason being mobility. With the use of Distended Grip, it will allow you to get much more closer to the enemy team, thus allowing much quicker engages with your ult. And the second reason as to why this tech is so useful is that it still gives you or your teammate overshield. You can see very clearly in the clip that by the time that I cancelled flexible elongation, both me and the Venom had gotten 75 overshield. This tech is incredibly useful, as not only does it increase you and your teammates' survivability, but it is also really easy to accomplish in game.
These small tricks can help edge out some of the shortcomings of Brainiac Bounce. I hope one day this part of the video ages poorly. But until then, this is the best way I can describe Brainiac Bounce without launching myself into a hateful tirade. Watch my rant video if you truly want to see how I feel about this ultimate. I feel as though I've already given a glimpse already here. In the meantime, feel free to join my Discord. We're constantly discussing and exploring new ways to talk about the characters I feature in my channel, such as Ultron and Mr. Fantastic. Fantastic Amplifier is the Rocket Raccoon team-up. At base, Mr. Fantastic can reach up to 200 elasticity now. Can inflate into inflated mode manually, meaning you can choose whenever you want to go in inflated mode, and instead of having a timer in inflated mode, you'll burn your elasticity meter at 12.5 per second, which is a maximum of 16 seconds. That's just under 3 times the amount of duration from the original inflated mode. However, the cooldown for using inflated mode is increased to 8 seconds from 6 seconds. If you ask me, that's a fantastic trade-off. The enhanced version of the team-up changes how Brainiac Bounce works. With Rocket actively in your team, your Brainiac bounces now launch enemies up into the air and pulls them into the center of your ultimate. You also gain maximum elasticity as soon as you use your ultimate.
Elastic and fantastic! Ha ha! Ha ha! Sorry about that.
Clobberin Research Department is the Thing team-up. At base, Mr. Fantastic can activate the ability and enter a brawler stance for 10 seconds with a 20-second cooldown afterwards. While in this stance, Stretch Punch becomes a charged ability called Brawling Punch. Uncharged, this unique punch deals 55 damage, and at maximum charge, it deals 100 damage. It takes 1 second to reach full charge, and you can hold the charged punch for 1 second. Whether charged or uncharged, landing a punch converts 75% of the damage into bonus health. At maximum charge, that equals to 75 bonus health and around 41 bonus health when it's uncharged. At full charge, this punch also launches enemies back. Brawling Punch can also pierce shields. The enhanced version of this team-up changes your Distended Grip into a Distended Hammer. Distended Hammer takes a full second to charge and can be held at maximum charge for 1 second. Uncharged, it deals 70 damage, and when charged to max, it deals 100 damage. The bonus health conversion is the same as Brawling Punch at 75%. Distended Hammer is the better of the two charged abilities that this team up offers. At full charge, it launches enemies upwards, pulls them closer to you, and can pierce through shields. The only problem is that the ability has a 3-second cooldown, which means you can basically only ever use it 3 times, at most every 20 seconds. If you want my super quick opinion on which is best, it's obvious that with this iteration of the team-ups, the Fantastic Amplifier is the clear winner. Its base is reliable, functional, and doesn't require much thinking. If you ask me, it's how Mr. Fantastic should have been designed from the beginning. With that said, this covers the basic guide for Mr. Fantastic. If you just wanted to learn how to play the character and how he works, this is everything as of Season 9.5. Now that we understand how Mr. Fantastic's abilities work, we need to dive in and answer how they can work together, when you should use them, when not to use them, and how to use them with your team. Essentially, bringing it all together. We'll go over his offensive and defensive playstyle, swapping between the two. We'll also talk about how to peel, how to rotate, how to stall, how to brawl, and how to manage your abilities alongside your team. Let's get into it. Let's set the record straight here. Mr. Fantastic can certainly take damage, more than any other duelist, but he is not a tank. You shouldn't think like a tank, and most certainly play like one either. You can fight alongside your tanks, you can provide relief and step up when they need to pull back and get healed, but you can't push forward, block as much damage, or apply pressure in the way that they can. I'm going to break down Mr. Fantastic's playstyle into 3 overarching parts. This is an evolution of the playstyle guide that I made months ago. Then, we'll take it a step further into the specifics. Number 1, playing off angle / flanking from the side. Disruption is the name of the game for Mr. Fantastic, and due to his high survivability, he can be relentless. You can survive a lot more than your duelist peers, but unlike them, you won't have as many escape options. Your only mobility is flexible elongation, and it can go as far as 15 meters. That's not useful if you're trying to retreat and your enemies are chasing you. You won't have anybody to, tether to or dash toward. So, where you can apply pressure is near your team, but close to the enemy. It's like taking the phrase, keep your friends close and your enemies closer, quite literally. You want to have access to your team at all times in case anything happens, but you want to also distract the enemy so that their cohesion can fracture and you can single out anyone who is alone or vulnerable. This is a great tactic to use on payload maps when you're on attack, as sometimes you need to add an element of pressure beyond just walking down main. But when do you use this on maps when you're not on attack, like a domination map?
See if I could, do some side swiping here.
Beyond all limits.
The whole idea of doing this side swipe is to get their attention, is to split their attention and to make them... See how now Deadpool? He used his ult. Do you see how you can kind of force this bad behavior by just being like an annoying thorn on the side? You don't have to dive all the way behind like Black Panther. You don't have to dive straight in front of them and just try and use your HP to bully them. Just be on the side. Be like a mosquito. Be annoying. And then when they start thinking oh, Vance is on the left. No, we have to go main. Oh no, this guy's on. Then they all start to fracture. Times like these is when it's up to you to apply pressure where the team can't. Number 2, playing aggressive or dueling. I used to be very confident saying this before Daredevil and Elsa released, but it still holds up with most of the roster. Mr. Fantastic is one of the best 1v1 duelists, with Thor holding a really strong contention for first place in my opinion. There's also Bucky and Punisher, but for the most part in terms of survivability, it goes to Mr. Fantastic and Thor. There's practically no duelist who can outlast you in a fight, no support that can shred you to pieces, and few tanks that can decimate you in a 1v1. Sometimes, if you're walking down main, or finding an off tank that isn't viable or possible, pick a target you know you can always kill or is always going to be alone and hunt them down. For example, that pesky Psylocke or Star-Lord that is buzzing around your backline, hunt them. That Angela that's flying around alone trying to steal a teammate, bully them. That DPS Luna trying to get kills in the shadows of your backline, free food. This portion of Mr. Fantastic's playstyle capitalizes on taking advantage of the strengths Mr. Fantastic has
over the weaknesses in the kits of other characters. So you have to know who exactly you're going up against, what they can do, and what you can do in return. For example, are you going to square up against a Wolverine who has his passive, or are you going to battle the magic that is skulking around trying to find an angle? Number 3, frontline / off tanking. This is a bit more straightforward than the other offensive playstyles, and one you might encounter often. When your team is solo tanking, or when the team has a composition that won't easily support Mr. Fantastic's Brawl playstyle. For example, when your team has primarily poke characters such as Hela and Namor with Doctor Strange and Mag, for example. You won't find much purpose moving up and battling characters where your strengths shine. You might get held back and have to support the tank or your strategist to ensure they move up with the team. Or your tanks are not shield tanks and are the Thing, Hulk, etc. Times like these, it's time to embrace the Bruiser playstyle and add to the pressure they mount up front and keep them going with flexible elongation. Another thing, using cover and understanding the map you're playing in is important to withstand the weaknesses and shortcomings when you default to this playstyle. So now let's get into some specifics, starting with Brawl. Knowing when to plant your feet and brawl it out is an essential skill for Mr. Fantastic players. Brawl as a playstyle is fairly straightforward. Beat the crap out of everyone in front of you, starting from either the closest person to you, or targeting the person with the lowest health bar, or the character with the least potential to escape from you. But who do you brawl with? I'll tell you Mr. Fantastic's best partners in every role. For Vanguards, Mr. Fantastic's #1 best partner is the Thing, and it's not even close. Granting each other shields and damage reduction while stunning, grabbing, inflicting slow and vulnerable on the enemy team. It's a dream when this duo is firing on all cylinders. After that, I'd say Hulk, Emma, and Thor are really strong close seconds. You know, getting the shields from Hulk, letting Thor push around the enemy while you grab them and knock them back. They're great for overpowering the enemy, but you won't have much defensive options with them. For Duelist, Mr. Fantastic's best Duelist partner is easily Magic, with Iron Fist, Wolverine, and Blade as close seconds. The reason why I have Magic at #1 is because her TTK is much faster than Iron Fist and Blade when you target Strategists and Duelists. On top of that, she generates shields on her own and can dodge a lot of damage while you're providing her more shields with flexible elongation and knocking the enemy back. Plus, out of the 3, she has the best escape options that you can piggyback off of. Is the enemy starting to peel? Well, Magic can just teleport and dash right out of there, and all you have to do is flexible elongate towards her and you're both out. Daredevil can work, but he's more of an opportunist and will get out of the fight sooner. He can brawl, but he won't stick around in a fight for as long as the previous characters I mentioned. Beyond that, don't expect to brawl with virtually any other DPS character. For Strategists, Rocket, Ultron, and White Fox are your top 3 best to go with you in a fight. Ultron and Rocket can virtually heal you from anywhere in the map, while White Fox can duke it out with you and grant you an escape path as she teleports back to the team and you can elongate with her. She can also provide you with a healing shield if she teleports to you as well. While most other supports can help, if you break line of sight or are out of reach, they may not be able to help you. Although a good Loki or a good Cloak can be lifesavers if they drop a rune or a healing bubble from a distance at your feet. Stall. Being able to stall successfully will be tricky, but it's something you'll have to do a lot. Whether it's on the payload or objective, you have to know how to cycle around the map, break line of sight, manage your cooldowns, and know when to get out and survive or die quickly to prevent getting staggered. Sometimes you just have to throw everything you've got into the enemy team like it's 99% and you lose if you die. You preferably don't want to get into those situations because at that point you're not just stalling, you're trying to do everything. You mainly want to stall when the repercussions for not doing so and when doing so is not so much a risk for you and your team. Did the enemy team wipe yours and you're left behind? Hold the cart and don't let it move. If the team fight is not going your way, but you can still survive and make the objective still count up in your favor, or the enemy cart doesn't move, keep fighting and survive. Remember, the name of the game isn't getting kills, it's winning the objective. Stalling is a great way to delay, deny, and defy the enemy team to prevent them from reaching their win. But don't do it at the cost of staggering, losing resources like ulting and then getting killed, and overall being poorly positioned from your team. Rotating. Okay, so stalling didn't quite work, but you're not dying either. It's time to get out since your team is losing the fight, even if you aren't. How exactly, you might ask? Well, Mr. Fantastic is one of the few characters that will die last in a team fight, especially if his team loses. Sometimes there's no value in stalling, so it's important to regroup with the team to avoid getting staggered. You know those moments where you're respawning and the team is grouping up, and then you have that one teammate that just dies at the very last moment, or a little too early, and now you have to wait a little longer to get the team back, or from that point on you just never recover and constantly stagger and spiral into a loss? Yep, that's what I'm trying to hammer home when I talk about rotating. This is the opposite choice to make when stalling isn't viable and death isn't possible or avoidable. Get out of the fight, rotate out of the enemy's line of sight or position, and return to your team to re-engage. Peeling. I'm going to start on a little tangent to help get you into the mindset of peeling with Mr. Fantastic. A lot of players, when they see a Mr. Fantastic, they feel entitled to get peeled. That as soon as they experience any pressure in the backline, it's Mr. Fantastic's duty to peel and protect them from any danger. As if he's the greatest anti-dive who can repel any character from them without them having to lift a finger. I'm sorry, it's just not possible. Peeling is a team effort. The strategists can't just walk backwards and run away from the team. They can't just focus on heals and not fight back. And they certainly cannot ignore the divers and the peelers once they engage against one another in the backline. So yes, peel when you can, but understand it's not your sole duty, it's a team duty. Body blocking. This last one I'm mentioning I'll keep brief, but because of the immense size Mr. Fantastic can reach, and with Reflexive Rubber having the ability to block line of sight abilities, he can body block enemies from getting healed, receiving buffs, and overall controlling their movement. Take a look at this clip and see how inflated mode prevented me from returning to my team.
Oh shit.
Judge, jury, executioner!
What the fuck am I doing back here?
I literally couldn't return to my team or move past this Mr. Fantastic. This tactic is also great for when you're fighting two supports and want to stop them from patty caking. By standing in between them and using the massive size of inflated mode and reflexive rubber, you can prevent them from healing each other and isolate them to get a better chance of killing them right away. These are essential tactics and playstyles to know when fighting as Mr. Fantastic, as each of them fill in a slot that encompasses playing him overall. But enough about Mr. Fantastic, let's talk about the rest of the game, starting with the other characters you'll be facing off against. Before Season 9, this section would have been brief and straight to the point, and to be honest, this guide would have been out so much sooner if it weren't for the cataclysmic changes that were introduced in the start of Season 9. This chapter of the guide will briefly go over the mindset of fighting these characters and how they interact with or against Fanta's abilities. If I missed anything for the characters that I've done, let me know in the comments below. For some characters, I won't mention everything, either because it's just too much information for too little effect, or it's not worth much to bring it up. We're going to go in alphabetical order and we'll do it in the role groups starting with Vanguards. Also, Deadpool will be at the very end since he has 3 roles and I don't want to talk about him 3 different times. Angela, the only flying tank in the game so far, which means flexible elongation is going to get its full bang for its buck. The knockdown, the gap closing, and the overall pressure will drive Angela players crazy.
Oh, I hate fucking Mr. Fantastic. Oh, yeah.
Her ability, Assassin's Charge, can be cancelled by flexible elongation and negated by reflexive rubber. She also has one of the smallest health bars of the Vanguards, so in some scenarios, you can fully duke it out with her. Just be aware that in her Divine Judgment zone, she gains bonus health. So save inflated or reflexive rubber to tank her damage, and then when she's about to leave, go back to normal and use flexible elongation to bring her down. You can also avoid her ultimate with reflexive rubber as well. Captain America. A straightforward tank to fight. He's evasive, but you can keep up with flexible elongation or pull him back with the Distended Grip. Just be aware that his dash Liberty Rush is CC immune, so save Distended Grip to reposition him if he's diving and fighting someone rather than when he's trying to flee. Otherwise, as soon as you see him, go inflated and beat him up since inflated mode can pierce shield. Devil Dinosaur. This guy has so much health, as well as a shield, where it gets to the point that fighting him simply becomes a net negative and waste of time. The shield is also so large that it can prevent cleaving with Stretch Punch easily. You must avoid entering inside his shield as it slows enemies inside it as well. Going inflated mode against him is also a trap because of his percentage damage abilities, as well as making you an easier target with Savage Predation, which is his grab. He's also inherently CC immune, so Flexible Elongation, Distended Grip, and Brainiac Bounce just do nothing for you. If somebody on the enemy team wanted to purely counter Mr. Fantastic and invalidate him completely, this is the character to do it with. Genuinely, do not fight this tank if he's on the other team. At least not alone if you cannot avoid it. Doctor Strange. 2 words. Free food. Like, what is there to say other than don't let him shoot you as you approach him? That's it. If he's flying, Flexible Elongation. If he has his shield up, Flexible Elongation and inflated mode. By the eye of Agamotto. More like bye bye Agamotto. Use Reflexive Rubber. In fact, you can also block it for other people too. The closer you are to the center of the ultimate, the more line of sight you can block. This is genuinely the easiest tank matchup for Mr. Fantastic. Just go inflated and beat his ass. Emma Frost. Not as terrifying as when she first came out. However, you have to be careful still. Because that grab, since I'm ranting, stay away from Emma Frost's face. That character, for whatever reason, goes diamond and grabs me when I play Fantastic every time without fail. It's not even my poor positioning at times. It's like they become rabid dogs that are just slobbering and frothing at the mouth to grab me. I literally hear the diamond sound effect anytime I'm engaging forward and save rubber just so I won't get grabbed. You know what? Can we just talk about why the hell you can get damaged when she grabs you, but other characters can't do that when they grab you, like Hulk? And why are you grabbed for so long? No, like I'm serious. Can we be real here? I swear to... Still brings back some old trauma. Anyways, Reflexive Rubber can block the grab and the kick. So if you see someone get grabbed, you can prevent them from getting kicked and dying. Reflexive Rubber is also great against her ultimate. If she uses her Psychic Spear, Reflexive Rubber also negates the damage. But if you don't have it available, try to get out of its range as quickly as possible. Don't go inflated unless you're at full health, because it deals 25% of the target's maximum health. The reason why I recommend only doing it when you're at full health is because the crystal's health is 25% of the target's current health. Since you can reach really high health, it'll take a lot longer for her to break the crystal, which gives you more time, and if she did break the crystal, you'd still have a lot of health remaining. Essentially, she can break it faster, but you'll take less damage, or she'll take longer to break it, but she will deal more damage. Almost double the amount. So here's a tip. The range to break the crystal is the same range for Flexible Elongation. So if you can't lock onto her anymore, then the crystal will break. Groot. Top 3 worst tank matchups for Mr. Fantastic. Groot's walls are a nightmare for him, because if you get trapped by them, you cannot break them. You just don't deal enough damage. You can avoid and even block his ultimate with Reflexive Rubber, however, so that's something. If he has his Ironwood wall up, he's CC immune, which means none of your abilities will affect him, and now with the Jeff team up or the Mantis team up, you'd be hard pressed to kill him efficiently. Don't overextend against Groot. If you fight him alone, avoid his walls, but it's best if you let your teammates worry about him first. He's on my ban list whenever I can afford to ban him, such as when the meta doesn't have any crazy characters to ban right away. Hulk. As crazy as it sounds, you can 1v1 Hulk. Because of the simplicity of his kit, there's a lot of room for you to maneuver and manipulate him with your skills. Reflexive Rubber or Distended Grip to interrupt his jumps, especially when he's escaping. Inflated Mode to brawl against him, and Reflexive Rubber to block his exile. Just remember, his Gamma Shield functions like Magneto, so a good Hulk will know that it can stop Brainiac Bounce. Magneto. Similar to Doctor Strange, but with a bit more teeth. Mag can push you away, and his bubble is really good at killing your ultimate. Other than that, there's not much he can do about you. His ultimate can't stop you from dealing damage unless you shoot a Reflexive Rubber bullet. His shield doesn't block your inflated punches, so really just watch out for his bubbles and when he uses his mag cannon. You can also block line of sight and prevent him from giving bubbles to allies with Reflexive Rubber. Penny Parker, super easy tank to kill, super hard tank to reach, especially with her stunning you as you get closer or bigger with inflated mode. When it comes to deployables, all of them, not just Penny's nests, they're incredibly difficult for Mr. Fantastic to break. If I have to break it, I either tough it out and go inflated to smash it or use Reflexive Rubber to absorb damage and shoot at it. One thing to note is that the mines and spider drones do not trigger when you are in Reflexive Rubber, but you will still get slowed. So the general game plan against Penny is to try and pull her out of her nest area with Distended Grip or just try to bulldoze your way through with inflated mode and Brainiac bounce. Rogue is straightforward to fight against. She's a brawler just as much as you are, but if she has the enhanced Gambit team up, you are cooked. Otherwise, you can survive everything she dishes out and handle her easily. Her grab doesn't steal any abilities from Mr. Fantastic, but she does get a 20% damage boost and you get 3% of your damage reduced. That's 2 damage lost. I mean, if you want to avoid it, just use Reflexive Rubber. Anyways, did you know you can block line of sight from Heartbreaker with Reflexive Rubber? Fighting the thing is like fighting a brick wall. He's got more up his sleeve than you do. Damage reduction, damage vulnerability, AoE cleave, percentage damage, Yancey Street charge, Earthbound, and an inherent CC immunity which prevents all of your abilities to not work against him. Don't go inflated against him in a 1v1. In fact, don't take a 1v1 against him in general. He suffers against poke for a reason because he thrives against brawl. You can't use flexible elongation or your ultimate when you're earthbound, but bright side, you can easily avoid Clobberin time with Reflexive Rubber. Although, because it travels on the ground, you can't block it for others. Thor. If I had to use one word to describe Thor against Mr. Fantastic, it's that he's lethal, and you won't get much time to react if you're not careful. His awakened states can genuinely dismantle inflated mode, and while he can't push you around or stun you if you use Reflexive Rubber against him, he genuinely doesn't care. A good Thor will shred Mr. Fantastic. Absolutely do not fight this character in a 1v1. You'd be hard pressed to win. Outside of Awakening Rune though, you're fine. Venom. I mean, there's no Venom that would ever sensibly pick a fight with Mr. Fantastic. Not because you counter him or because you can kill, but because you just survive as long as him. All Venoms attack the backline or the weakest character, and because of their immense health, it takes forever to actually kill a Venom as Mr. Fantastic. You use Distended Grip to grab him and prevent him from flying when you see the blue health activate, but other than that, nothing else really affects him. It's really disingenuous, in my opinion, when a team asks Mr. Fantastic to peel, air quotes, against a diving Venom. Like, what is he supposed to do against the guy? The damage just tickles him. The knockback doesn't do much to deter him because his dive is CC immune. His ultimate can destroy inflated mode, and Distended Grip, while it can stop him, if it doesn't work, he gets away scot-free. You need hard stuns and some serious burst damage to stop a Venom, and Mr. Fantastic can't do much against him. Strategists. Adam Warlock. Free food. Technically. You can stop him from doing anything, but a good Adam that can pace his healing and not miss a shot will shred you to pieces. You can stop him from healing with Reflexive Rubber. You can stop him from flying with Flexible Elongation. His heal is 95 plus 35 to himself twice, and a lot more if he gets hits. So fight him inflated if he can't escape you, but keep chipping away at him until you know he can't shoot or heal himself in time, and then commit to fighting him. Cloak and Dagger. Aside from the healing bubble and the ultimate, you can reliably kill a Cloak and Dagger. Yes, I'm aware that's technically not saying much given the insane cooldown, or lack thereof, rotation they have with their healing abilities. But did you know if you get the right hand on a cloak before he fades, you can pull him out of it? Just be careful of the Hood team up. It's not as popular as the Luna Snow one, however, I believe it's low-key better. Don't bother ulting when a Cloak and Dagger ults. In fact, for most healing ults, Brainiac bounce just isn't the play. Not until they're about to finish or have finished. If you're not fishing for kills, then go nuts and bait out the support ult. Gambit. He can escape and push you away, but beyond that, there's really not much Gambit can do against Mr. Fantastic. An easy matchup in your favor, especially if the distance can be shortened easily or you're already super close to him. If he's got range on you and you try to close the gap, like I said, he'll throw everything at you and then dash away while healing himself. Fight him up close and save your pulls for his dash. Invisible Woman. I swear to God, if an Invisible Woman player on the other team knows how Mr. Fantastic works, just swap. At every turn, you will be stopped from doing anything. Want to escape with Flexible Elongation? You get pulled back to the enemy team. Want to Flexible Elongate to the enemy? You get pushed away. In a 1v1 against an enemy DPS, there's a shield suddenly in their face healing them and you can't do anything. Using Inflated Mode to deal damage, her backdash lets her escape from your range. Want to ult? They'll toss a shield up and patty cake or jump away in time and kill your ult. Like, genuinely, you'll have an annoying time fighting a team with an invis that knows your toolkit. Yes, while you can track them and catch them while they're invisible, it pales in comparison to the amount of things she can do against you. Jeff, tiny little guy, is easy to kill. Reflexive Rubber can save yourself and others, it's just like Doctor Strange. Only thing is when he swims away, it might be hard for you to kill. Not much to say about Jeff, he's got a simple kit. Jubilee, free food. I don't think there's ever been an easier support to kill other than Ultron that is extremely low to the ground and has used his dash already. Sure, the Hood team up dramatically boosts her DPS, but to be honest, just protect yourself from the vulnerability and you're fine. Loki. With Loki, don't bother breaking the runes unless you're inflated. Otherwise, easy to kill unless they manage to teleport extremely far away. Luna. Too many stuns, hard to kill. If you dive a Luna, be prepared to take a lot of time being frozen, charmed, and stunned. Otherwise, another easy character to kill. If they're using the Adam Warlock team up, however, then it becomes a little bit harder, but at that point, just bait out the ability and come back after. Here's a tip that I use a lot. When you're fighting a Luna and they use a stun or multiple stuns, count to 10. At 10, you have 1 or 2 seconds until those abilities are back. So if you haven't killed her in those 10 seconds, you're not gonna get the chance to kill her again. Mantis, the best support in the game right now, undisputedly. But for you, a very easy one to kill. Just bait out the sleep and you're fine. No other notes needed really. Rocket, a bit of a wily one this guy. Be careful because his dashes can let him avoid Flexible Elongation and he does some mean damage up close. You can block the line of sight of his ultimate, but beyond that, a very easy character to kill. Ultron, if you're in range, he's dead. If you're not in range, you're dead. There's not much to say there. White Fox, Inflated Mode is the way to go when you fight a White Fox. Save your Flexible Elongation when they try to teleport away so you can follow them easily. But otherwise, another high stun support like Adam Warlock. They're very simple to kill. Mr. Fantastic just takes longer than the others to finish the job. There's more Duelists than both the Vanguards and Strategists combined. I feel like if I have to break down every interaction for Mr. Fantastic, it gets to the point where I'm not only doing this guide a disservice because of how long it would be, but I feel like I would also be doing you a disservice by pigeonholing you or restricting how you would play the character you enjoy. There's no set way to play Mr. Fantastic, but there are things to keep in mind and definitely things to avoid. So that is what I'll be talking about for the Duelists. I'll break them down in categories: Dive, Brawl, Poke, and Special. Special is for flyers and specific duelists with their own niche. And Deadpool, since I didn't mention him for Vanguard and Special and Strategist. Dive. With Season 9's introduction of the team-up abilities and the nerf of Flexible Elongation losing its slow debuff, fighting Dive has only gotten harder and harder. I'll tell you this much right now. Dive characters do not target Mr. Fantastic. Why would they? Their goal is to target squishies and supports, not the DPS that can go from the highest DPS base health to almost the highest tank health in a second. Their job is to kill quickly, efficiently, and then get out just as fast. That's the most important part, speed. In the dive section, I included characters that are all about speed, such as Black Panther, Black Cat, Spider-Man, Psylocke, Daredevil, etc. But more than just speed, they fight close quarters. And while that's your preferred range, it's not at a level of speed that Mr. Fantastic can compete with, but it is a level that the community wants you to engage in all the time. I say, do what the team needs. but understand that if you have to play anti-dive, there's way better characters at it than Mr. Fantastic. Save your abilities for when they try to leave, not for when they try to enter. Because if they've entered or dived, they've decided that this was the best moment for them to do so. And as Mr. Fantastic, you can't stop these characters, but you can punish them for trying to do what they do. Use inflated while they're fighting, and when they escape or commit even harder, use your abilities as necessary. Distended Grip to pull them back, flexible elongation to try and keep up, and rubber to survive any burst damage or solo ults. Brawl. This is your playground. Just be aware of what the characters can and can't do. Going up against a Wolverine? Please don't go inflated. You'll just feed him. Fighting an Iron Fist? Don't punch him while he's blocking. Fighting a Blade? Give yourself a lot of room and use rubber to prevent him from getting stacks, and then use inflated to burst him down. Remember, Blade is a melee character, while Mr. Fantastic has 15 meters to play Brawl. Fighting a Magic? Save your abilities, count her teleports, and then fight her when she has nothing left. Fighting a fellow Mr. Fantastic? Believe it or not, you can win with one easy tactic. Fight him with your team. If you're in a 1v1, it's a dog fight, and a really long one at that. So try to move the fight. Don't stay at one place. You have 15 meters, and so do they. So move and find yourself pockets of healing with health packs or with the rest of your team. That's how you win. You create advantage. You manifest opportunity by not tunnel visioning and staying in one place. Most Brawl characters have percentage damage in some capacity. Do not waste your time in inflated mode unless you're sure you can win in it. You have abilities, use them to their fullest potential, because your enemy most certainly will. Poke. This is your counter category. Most of these characters will whittle down your health, and by the time you reach them, they have escape options, CC options, or burst options, and some have all three. Know your limits. Don't be stupid and bash your head against a wall trying to fight some of these characters. Genuinely, if it gets to the point you are losing value or losing the match, swap. But that doesn't mean you have to swap as soon as you go up against a poke team. There are ways to win, but they require patience and proper execution. You can't punish these people, but you can target other characters. You can play in between your team and make sure they don't become the targets of those characters. You can patrol, you can punish off angles, high ground plays, backline plays. You can relieve pressure from the tanks by absorbing some of the damage. You can provide bonus health to your teammates to make sure they don't get sniped from range. There's a lot that you can do, and if you can isolate them, get them to use their abilities. Save rubber reflex for their stuns, save elongation for their escapes, and save inflated mode for when they have nothing left so you can kill them quickly. Special. Special is twofold. I'm adding flyers and I'm adding the big counters and then Daredevil and then Deadpool at the very end. The biggest counter, in my opinion, for Mr. Fantastic is the Punisher. He's got the long range and short range on you. As soon as you get into the back line or front line and you see this motherfucker pull out the shotgun, get the fuck out of there. I'm not even joking. You will see your health shattered in 3 to 4 shots if you're not careful. People will say Squirrel Girl is a fantastic counter. Not really. People will say Poke is a counter. Honestly, that depends on the skill level of the Poke player, not the inherent power of the character. And people will say Flyers can stop Mr. Fantastic. But no. If you really want to shut down Mr. Fantastic, go Punisher for Duelists. It's not even close. The second biggest counter is the Winter Soldier, especially if he has the Elsa team up, base or enhanced. This guy's survivability can genuinely rival Mr. Fantastic's if you're not careful. And with the enhanced team up, it's almost 1 for 1. Whatever you do, do not fight him if there are healers nearby or have line of sight of him. You will lose. If this was pre-season 9, you can watch my old character counters video, but 9 times out of 10, you would win. But now, the team up flips the board entirely. Don't be an idiot and enter a losing duel. Last but not least, Black Cat. Maybe things will change, but as of season 9.5, I'll never understand the amount of unholiness they've baked into this character. Something evil must be lurking inside of NetEase for them to develop a character such as this. Maybe she was developed in an alternate timeline where the company was called Net Dizzies or something. But do not 1v1 her. Do not. It's not worth it, and if your team tells you to anti-dive against her, your team is setting you up for failure. Okay, let's talk about flyers. If they're within 15 meters, flexible elongation makes them free food, and it's not even a joke. But if they're out of that range and can consistently play out of your range, you have to pivot and find another way to weaken their influence over the match. Sometimes that includes switching. Other times, that includes shutting down their healers or tanks, or just playing in a way that doesn't get them value, such as playing far from their line of sight and then punishing them once they push further in. Remember, this guide is to help you play Mr. Fantastic. Base, advanced, characters, maps, playstyles, all of that. But at the end of the day, I'm making this guide because I want you to win your games. And sometimes, winning, you can't do it with Mr. Fantastic. Deadpool. So, Deadpool, for the most part, I would say there's really only two things. For Vanguard pool, watch out for the bubble. And if you and for all the other Deadpools, just make sure that if they're using the swords, save inflated mode unless they have the hell team up, which they do, and use flexible elongation to constantly bring him down. That's the number one thing. Otherwise, for Deadpool, treat him like you would any other regular duelist. Maps. There's not many more maps since I've done a last map video. And to be honest, it's kind of an evergreen video because these maps aren't getting reworked, and the new maps aren't significant enough of a game changer to make me commit to a new video entirely yet. They still follow the formula of the previous maps as well. My last map video was released before Araco came out. So including Araco since then, we've gotten 6 more maps, with Thebes being the newest. Thebes? I don't know how to say it. Honestly, watch that map video or even my recent Fantastic videos and streams where I play in the new ones and infer from it what to do on those new maps. I'd say learn the pathing to health packs, and alternate paths to the objective are important, especially for off-angle flanking or rotating routes. So how about we do some live gameplay on those new maps and see how things go. I won't be doing the usual commentary that I do for the other Fantastic videos. My voice is gone.
We can pull it off. I've been in worse games. Trouble has arrived. A shield. Oh, great.
Where'd they land?
Feeling fantastic.
Where are the other tanks? Why am I the only one fucking tanking this shit?
Spider-Man is res. We have no res. I res Spider-Man.
Fucking Punisher is gonna blast my ass, dude. Do we have anything? No, we don't.
Elastic and fantastic! Ha! Whoa!
What the fuck?
You're failing beyond all limit!
Double kill!
It like the elongation didn't even work.
Feeling fantastic. No hard feelings.
Double kill!
Watch out, they're headed our way. Well, hello there. This location is worth observing.
Oh, they're caught, Spidey.
This is real firepower!
I can't really like stop this.
Only 60 seconds left.
That almost hurt.
A pearl of light.
I've got you. Right, the stretch! The odds weren't in your favor. You've made me finally bouncing back behind you. We've been discovered.
Here is an enemy to pursue.
Oh my god.
Down to 30 seconds. Light force is in preparation.
No portal yet, so this is the last fight. Oh, they're portaling, they're portaling, they're portaling.
The final 10 seconds.
Elastic and fantastic! Ha-ha! Ha-ha!
No winner yet. Going to overtime.
Supernova!
No way.
Fantastic!
Clutch, Spidey, clutch.
The current score is 0-0. Time to switch things up, including which side you're on. You'll need a top-notch team to win this one.
I've seen wonders out there in the cosmos few humans will ever behold.
A deathless game is Mr. Fantastic? Say it ain't so, bro. I noticed that a lot of my
Rocket?
content plays on Kunlun. Maybe it's just like the map kind of like makes me play better. It's peaceful, you know? So maybe I'm at peace when I'm playing on this map.
30 seconds before you attack.
Something about it,
Ready?
dude. Something about it. I don't know.
Thought you were goner after the vampires caught us by the Queensboro Bridge.
Oh, me too.
Oh, the majority of the maps in this game are just so dark and dreary, or indoors, and that's just like so boring to me.
I'll tell you about it sometime.
I don't like darkness zones unless they're like done aesthetically well, or at least to my taste. I should be honest.
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
We have to attack.
They have a penny.
I could handle the pressure of the darkness.
Protection is
We've been discovered. How unexpected! Quite the stretch!
Okay, bro, what are you swiping at? Wow, that is a huge jump.
You're welcome. Let me return the favor.
Could you be any more transparent? What?
Fantastic! The elastic! You're welcome.
Okay, bro, like, leave me alone!
Shame to destroy such advanced. I'll patch you up.
fucking shield down, man.
It's spider time!
What the fuck was that? Stop getting bonus health. It's over. My god. Oh my god, dude.
Final score 1-2-0.
Flawless.
Another epic victory. Big win.
And most damage blocked too. And most damage dealt too. Yo. I'm kinda nice.
Be sure to save some
The
of
battle
that
starts in 5.
Let's fuck shit up, huh? With this thing.
2, 1.
Well, who have we here?
Even when you can't see me, I'll stand with you, believe. A nice deep freeze.
Okay.
Oh, help, please.
Anywhere we must go then. Follow me.
Halfway there. Keep going.
Oh my god, I could have died. Oh my god, I could have died.
I've located an enemy. Watch out.
Double KO.
Freeze in, broad.
That's 3. Almost there. Don't turn back now. Vehicle reached a checkpoint. Keep up the momentum.
Whoa. Oh, okay, that was the Star-Lord team up. I was about to say, that is some insane speed.
Us against the world. Shields up. Look out behind you.
Fantastic! We've got to look out for one another.
You're halfway there. Keep going.
Bionic magic.
Water release. Just like Finn.
Almost there. Don't turn back now.
Whoa, did he just hook me in the air?
I like the way you want to help.
There's still more work to be done.
They're all teleporting in there. What do we have? Invis.
I can be reckless now.
This should keep me going.
Get that vehicle moving again.
Futile attempt.
Beyond sight. Armed and
Morocco doesn't have much longer. We need
by the eye of Agamotto.
futile attempt.
Oh my god.
I like the pose.
Turn around. Feeling fantastic. Excellent. Even the power of futile attempt.
The vehicle reached a checkpoint. Keep up the momentum.
They've been discovered. What a relief. I've located an enemy.
That's it! Don't let anything stand in your way. Typhoon!
Why did you wait until he died?
Fantastic!
That's his compromise.
Double KO! That's 3!
3 opponents neutralized.
So close!
I can't believe this thing works, dude.
I become vulnerable.
1,000 gods!
Disappear!
Pulse charge, fire! It's clobbering time! Whoa, that wasn't really academic, Professor.
Rest easy, Becca.
Double KO!
Just like this!
A little help, please.
What a relief! This core should remove all traces of Ultron from Morocco.
You needed some help.
Not bad.
Current score
But I
is
think our team is
3,
just kind of
2.
better than theirs.
Extra shielding?
Ooh.
Yes, please.
They'll be
Kind
coming in
of. I might have to
very
like
soon.
clip
Stay strong.
the beginning.
A time stream reintegration device may be our only hope to mend the damage the dooms have caused.
Between the two of us, we should be able to have a working prototype in...
By my estimates, 5 to 10 years.
Oh, well, suddenly the fact that time itself has gone completely haywire doesn't seem...
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1!
Just like this!
We've got trouble.
I can't believe this is actually getting value. I'm so angry.
Well, hello there!
I'm tanking too, guys.
A nice deep freeze.
Someone will go last time.
Glad I wasn't late for Clobberin time, Ben.
Encore. Turn around, quick.
Feeling fantastic. A few daggers and never fall! Just like Ben!
I'll do my best to carry on, Reed.
So this is why. The whole time they're damaging me, I'm just... Whole time.
There's
Like,
still
this is the
more work
fundamental
to be
issue
done.
with this character, man. I mean, we're gonna win the game, but,
Better stop that vehicle!
like...
I like the cold.
They faded halfway!
Someone took the portal behind. That was late.
Shields up!
This is real firepower!
Just immediately gave up the high ground she had.
You got
Oh, that would have hit her. That would have hit her too, for sure.
Myself. Now that's shocking!
Let's heat it up!
Why isn't it just like an extra punch with like different
He
cooldowns?
stopped them in their tracks!
Why does it have to be a duration ability?
Time to clobber!
behind us, so what's
The moon haunts you. Clean up your boy,
Where is he?
It's clobbering time!
I can be reckless now.
Fantastic!
Double KO! Only 60 seconds left.
Right there. Nice deep freeze.
Literally! A futile attempt. Give it never falls! By the eye of Agamotto!
Oh, I have to get out of here.
It's time to clobber! I'll take a shield, sure. A futile attempt.
If that was normal, I would have gotten the final hits. Y'all better take 5 after this match, because you do not want any of them on your team.
3, 2, 0. Another epic victory! Big win!
Thank you. Thank you for coming this far. Genuinely. This guide was a long time coming. I can't believe it's been a year of Marvel Rivals in this channel. And more than that, I can't believe you're still here. It means everything to me. I appreciate it, and I am grateful for having such a fantastic community with you. No matter what happens, never give up. If you enjoyed the video, if the guide helped in any way, leave a like and subscribe. You can join our Discord where we do VOD reviews on stream, where we talk about Mr. Fantastic, where we share a lot of, information and memes and all that fun stuff. With that said though, I'll see you all in the next video or on the next stream. Peace out.